Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you're watching, wherever you're watching, however you're listening, wherever you're listening. It's the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast, and we are here, a two-man crew. Got the man Ryan Dyru,
The line.
the line. Jamal's in DC with toilet issues right now, so that's why he's unable to join us. But we can make it all work as we normally do. Ryan, how are you doing today?
What's up, my man? Doing good. Can't complain. Trying to think if there's anything new. I feel like we less time in between shows since we did our live show Tuesday and now it's Thursday, so didn't have to wait long to jump back on with you. So good to see you. How are you doing?
Yep, I'm doing well. The heat wave is coming. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's here.
We feel it. Heat wave is coming. Today's the first day of summer. It's going to be it's going to be the longest day of the year. I need to call my buddy Mike. He lives in Seattle, and I normally call him around 8:00. It's on FaceTime and ask him to show me what outside looks like. So, got to keep that tradition alive.
Yeah, just because he's in Seattle, you do that, or that's just something you guys have been doing for years?
Just because he's in Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Because it stays lighter, longer, the more northern. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you go to Brenden Dunes in Oregon, they start playing golf at 5:30 because the sun's up, and they walk. It's like a 72-hole walk challenge at Brenden Dunes in Oregon, which I think is ridiculous. I would never walk 72 holes. But
those courses, though, Brenden Dunes look amazing. Like that's one of my bucket lists to play.
My brother Kenny played there last month.
Did he really? Oh, yeah. Super jealous. That's like Pebble Beach would be like one, and Brenden Dunes is probably like right after that. Like they look amazing.
There we go. LAFB charity golf tournament at Pebble Beach Golf Course.
Heck yeah.
Sponsor a hole for $45,000.
I'm still trying to get Jeff Makai played at LA Country Club recently, and I'm trying to get him to get us on there, and we can do our LAFB first charity tournament at LA Country Club. Keep it local.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, but LA Country Club's almost like as exclusive as, Augusta. So
the Riviera also.
Yeah.
Is that exclusive to Riviera? I wonder how far they are from each other. Neither here nor there. We'll look that up at a later time. But the Riviera is like a hidden gem in Southern California.
Oh, yeah.
So more big news hit this weekend. If you thought your hair was on fire on Tuesday, everybody's hair is completely scorched off. Justus Terry has decommitted from the University of Southern California. And I'm here to tell you guys it's okay. Everything will be all right. No need to worry. Juju, I will say this before we get into that. Julian Lewis, he's not Juju. There's only one Juju on campus. Julian Lewis at the Elite 11 camp, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. At the Elite 11 camp said he is committed to USC. He's not going anywhere. He chose Lincoln Riley, and that's who he's going with. Said it at an interview at the Elite 11 camp. So all the Julian Lewis rumors could go away. Back into Justus Terry. Now, I got a little criticism because I said Isaiah Gibson was scared of competition, right? And it's just weird that he decommits the same weekend that there's a defense. There's 4 and 5-star defensive linemen come. Defensive line. Oh, that was terrible grammar. 4 or 5 stars. 4 or 5-star defensive linemen coming in on recruiting visits. I'm just saying. I'm just connecting dots here. So Justus Terry decommits, which is not a surprise for you, Ryan. And I'm still a little bit of your shine, and you could fall back on it. You called this a long time ago. You said we don't think he's going to stay. It's way too early to commit in March. He was like one of the first commitments behind Julian Lewis, and now we're 2 months later, and he's deciding to go somewhere else. Right? March, April, May. 3 months later, he's deciding to go somewhere else, and looks like he's going to stay home. Either Alabama or Auburn is also the same thing, which is interesting. I don't know why anybody would go to Auburn. They don't win anything, but neither here nor there. How do you feel about this decommitment?
Yeah, obviously, a player of his caliber and talent, it's disappointing, and you never want to see guys of that high status decommit to go elsewhere where you could end up facing them and whatnot. So it's a bummer. It's not great. It's not good news, but I echo what you think. I don't think the sky is falling. Like this is all everything I'm basically saying on this show, because I'm going to talk to other people after, but this is all just like my gut feeling. So these are not sources or information. So I'm not trying to put facts out there. We're just talking through, and these are my feelings. But it's very odd how close these decommitments were. 12 hours apart, not even 12 hours. I mean, they may have decided together ahead of time, and then just the announcements came 12 hours apart. But both guys were on the same visit for SC the same weekend. They both committed the same weekend to SC, and now both decommit within 12 hours apart. Like, it feels like it was almost just a opportunity for them to up their NIL stock for other programs and use SC as that kind. I have no idea if that's the case, and I don't want to. I don't want to. I hate even putting stuff out there that can, because these are still, young men finding themselves and whatnot. So I don't want to do that. But it just seems very odd to me that they've kind of done everything in lockstep together. I don't even know if they'll end up together at Georgia or Alabama or Auburn or wherever they end up. But the timing of everything, of the commitment, the decommitment, the announcements they made, the kind of comments people have made on Instagram, like, it just feels odd. So that's, we'll get into more like what it actually means for USC, the program, and if it's a real stain on recruiting and this coaching staff, but just the whole little bit of it. I don't know if you've thought about that at all, but it just feels very odd to me.
I thought about 3 years from now, let's see where they are. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm still I understand the NIL, and I'm all for NIL, but I'm still the old fashioned thing. Like, you at least need to be here and want to play here, and it shouldn't be about money. For me, for them, I think it's about money, and I'm assuming. For me, that's what I'm saying. I just think it's about the money. So, with that being said, it wouldn't be surprised if you see one of them jump in the transfer portal, or you see both of them jump in the transfer portal in 2 years, because looks like they're chasing more of the money, and this is the downfall, and this is why I say that NIL should be capped. It looks like they're chasing more of the money than chasing the place that they want to play and where they feel like they're at home, which to me does not create a good player. I will say this. When we were doing our pre-show, I was looking up some stuff, and I was looking up like Frosty Rucker, Wild Bunch 2, wasn't highly recruited on a national championship team. I was looking up Cedric Ellis. He was kind of highly recruited, but just on the West Coast basin. But recruiting was a little bit different there. But national championship team. The only one on that line that was highly recruited was Sean Cody. Sean Cody was the guy. All the articles were saying good things about him. So I still stand on the fact that I don't care how many stars you are. It does not matter to me. If I could develop you and make you a great player, if you want to be here, you become a good college football player. I will still repeat this, and I will chant this, and I know it, like you said, it benefits us. Being the fact that today's information is out there so fast, and there's so much information, and people don't know how things normally go. Losing a recruit is a normal process in the recruiting process. No matter what school you are, losing a recruit is a normal process. This is not anything new. People are finally starting to see that people are losing recruits, and it's becoming a big deal. It is a part of the process. So the sky is still intact. The world's not over. To answer your question, it's not a blemish on SC recruiting. They got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive linemen coming in. They were doing all the right things. They know where they need to recruit in order to become a better football team. It is okay. Like Aaron Rodgers said the year they won the Super Bowl, relax. We're okay. Relax. It's all good. Like, I've been on both sides of the desk. Like, you're going to lose, guys. It's a part of the game. Just relax. We are okay. We're still recruiting top prospects throughout the nation. It is fine. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I know when we did our live, we got a lot of comments that we're just trying to, we're coping and making excuses and stuff like that. But I think you have to really, think of things not just so reactionary and big picture. Now, if on signing day they lose more recruits and they finish with like a 9-person class, yes, then we can be like, all right, what the hell is going on? There's an issue here. But the fact that it's June, 6 months before signing day, a year and a half before the 2025 class will even step foot on fall camp, I'm not worried at all. The sky is not falling because there's so much time. And as you said, and as I said last show, just 5 years ago, it was recruiting cycles were not highly reported 365 days a year. It was basically December signing day started becoming a thing. February was still the national signing day. And you heard some murmurs and stuff of what kids were visiting and interest, but you didn't get all these like Hayes Fawcett, like Fong bomb blasts of like commitments in June and April and March. And so now that's a thing. It just seems like a huge deal. Like, oh, wow, SC had the number 3 overall class, was trending right. And in 2 days, they lose 2 of them to decommits. That probably happened, I'm sure, in your day, like all the time. Just no one knew about it. I mean, these are just handshakes, right? These kids are on campus and said, Coach, I'm in. Let's do it. I want to play for you. That's all it is. That's all a commitment is right now. You're not signing anything. You're basically giving a verbal like, hey, I like what you're doing. Let's do it. 2 weeks later, that can change very quickly. It doesn't necessarily mean the sky is falling. Now, we don't know everything behind the scenes. We don't know if there's, was NIL issues or whatnot. But at the end of the day, I don't think it matters a ton in June. Again, if we're still trying to formulate this conversation in December on signing day when then they falter, then that's a different story. But we're in June. And I think also one thing to look at, Coach, is now that we are in this era of reporting, is this beginning of this recruiting cycle feels very similar to year 1 of the Lincoln Riley era in the sense that they took kind of the world by storm and how quickly things got turned around, and it kind of masked maybe what really needed to still be built. And that's what we saw in year 2. Mm-hmm. And I think and this is going to be way quicker in that, but I think how quickly they got these like big recruits so early on, and everyone's like, boom, SC recruiting's back. Coach Henny is the real deal, which I think he is. And then you lose 2 and everyone freaks out like, oh no, it was all a fraud. It's like, no, I think everyone just got maybe a little too hyped, a little too early. And it's a long play. I mean, it's not a quick burst where you get all your commitments and it's done. It's a long, long process, a long play. These kids commit and they still have 7 official visits after they commit to you. Like, I don't know what people expect. So I'm going to keep reiterating. It's absolutely a bummer loss. It's not great. I'm not sitting here saying like it's nothing, but it's not something to think the sky is falling, because there's a lot of great players out there that are going to be visiting. As you mentioned, there's 13 visiting this weekend, which we're going to get to later on in the show. 6 of those being defensive linemen. You still have Julian Lewis, who's heavily recruiting. One of his teammates, safety, was at Elite 11 as well, who's been on campus at USC and is trending towards. He just got a crystal ball to commit to SC. So now that's going to even further help Julian Lewis stay if his teammates with him at SC. So, I mean, things are still, I think, working. It's still a process. People think it's trending down. I think it's the roller coaster that is recruiting. And, I know
it is a roller coaster that is recruiting. You're 100% correct on that.
And everyone wants to, and I get it, because SC is a cream of crop organization program. But everyone looks at Georgia and Ohio State right now and is like, that's what USC should be. And I agree, that's what USC can and should be, but they're not there yet, because you think about it too. And sorry, I'm getting long-winded here, Coach, but
no, it's okay.
There's a few things in recruiting, right? It's relationship building. Like, can a coach convince you that they'll develop you, they'll take care of you, they're going to make LA feel like home to you? That's 1. 2 is the NIL side, which is really 3. That should be the last thing, but the NIL side. But the other side is proof in the product. And so this defensive staff is brand new. So yes, they're selling a product that I think we all believe in and is going to be better. But these recruits are looking at the defense of last year. And they look at Georgia and they say, okay, well, this defense with Kirby Smart has been elite for however long Kirby's been there, 6, 7, 8 years. This SC defense looks like it's going to be good, but last year was terrible. Like, so can they prove it to me? So if SC goes out this year, because again, signing day is after the season. Signing day is after the 2024 season. We have yet to play football. If they go out and play Big Ten football, play hard in the trenches, win 9, 10 games, and the defense looks robust, a lot of those kids are going to be coming back. They maybe decommitted and say, okay, SC's for real. I believe in them. They have the development. They have the NIL. And guess what? Now they proved it in their first year of Big Ten. So there's a lot of things that are going to happen that don't happen in June.
Just to let you know, Ohio State lost the commitment on May 16th.
Yeah.
So everybody loses commitments. Like I'm looking at it right now. May 16th, Ohio State lost a 4-star wide receiver. It happens. Like that's just proof that happens.
Texas lost a running back today.
It happens. No, you're right. So the sky isn't falling. It's okay. I was not coping. I was just giving my opinion from a coach's side. When you have a bunch of defensive linemen coming in and then you decommit, you're scared of competition. That's just what it looks like to me. And I'm going to say that every single time. Like, now why not be like, oh, okay, cool. That's just more guys to make me better. But other than that, like, there's no reason for me to cope. I'm more trying to keep everybody calm because they're going crazy over a lost commitment. And all of a sudden we're falling and, oh, Coach Henderson needs to panic and he's supposed to be the guy and this and that. Like, chill out, guys. We go and we win a national championship. Then everybody all of a sudden flips the tape like, yeah, I knew we had it all the time. We're back, this and that. So, like, just chill out.
And sorry, I keep cutting you off, but we talked about this on the live show, right, too, but it also elite talent you have to be able to recruit at the top level, obviously. Mm-hmm. But there is still importance on getting the right guys that want to be here. There's enough talent out there, 4 stars, 5 stars that want to be here. That doesn't mean every single 5-star wants to be here. Doesn't mean every single 4-star wants to be here. You got to find the right ones. And the perfect example, and because again, everyone compares to Michigan and Ohio State. Ohio State hasn't won. You know, they haven't really won anything. They've been good. They've been good for a decade, but they haven't really won anything 5 years ago, or within the last 5 years to say. But the good example is Michigan, right? Michigan under Harbaugh.
What year were those guys recruited? Because I'm about to look it up. What number that class was. So it was 4 years ago, right? Yeah, last year's all those seniors. 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's probably like the 19 class, I'm guessing.
All right.
But I've looked because I've done this anyway for a bunch. But you can look it up too. But if you look at Michigan's classes under Harbaugh, they all were basically top 20. There was really, I think, 1 or 2 were like 9th. The rest were all 13th, 17th, 12th. So you have to be an elite program. You got to have a top 20 recruiting class. I'm not saying USC can have a top 50 class and expect to win. Like, you got to have top 20. The difference between, you know, top 20 and top 3, I mean, that's all just based on what these websites On3 and 247 decide how they rate, right?
Opinion.
And so, yeah, it's their scouting opinion. They don't even work for the teams, which is great. I love they do awesome work. I love them. We use them for LAFB, obviously. But Michigan, obviously, I think everyone would agree, is a pretty dang good program. They won the Natty last year, and they did it based on guys that wanted to be Wolverines. They were in that, you know, range, just in the top 20 every year, being consistent. But they didn't have top 2 classes, top 3 classes every year, and that's why they won. They wanted to be there and developed them.
You're telling me Michigan, who beat Alabama in the semifinal, as probably below between top 20 and top 15, who beat Alabama in the semifinal, who Alabama is always a top 5, I guess we could say, because just for give or take, won the national championship, and they did not have a bunch of 5-star recruits and weren't a top class in the nation. I can't believe you're saying that, Ryan. Like, wait.
And they boat raced Ohio State for 3 straight years.
And that's a factual statement you could go look up. We're guesstimating where they were, but they were never a top 10 class. And I bet you there's one person who would be like, oh, no, they were 10 that year. Okay, they were number 10. But at the end of the day, they beat Alabama. They didn't just beat Alabama. They dog-walked Alabama. The score might have showed it, but physically beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl that year. And they pretty much dominated in the national championship. What more is to say? And let's not forget this. The year before, that same class went to the college football playoff. You know what that's called? That's called having a plan, being patient, and developing guys. That's how you win national championships on the college level. Because I'll tell you this, 85% of high school coaches do not know football on a very detailed level and cannot coach. And if any high school coach wants to challenge me, let's get on the board. Let's talk legit football and let's talk scheme. That is a factual statement. So that's just how it goes. But let's jump into the next topic. We're talking about this recruiting weekend. So we got 13 people coming in this week. Let's try to get this in quick. Elijah Griffin, Jared Smith, Malachi Goodman, Marco Jones, Trajan Odom, Gus Cordova. Guess what? All play defensive line. The lowest ranked one is Gus Cordova, who's already committed, and he's a 3-star athlete. The rest of them are 4- and 5-star defensive linemen. So we're recruiting the right guys. We're recruiting the right positions. Guess what? Carday Smith, offensive tackle, Auburn commit. Why is he coming to SC? You know what I mean? So we're doing the same thing. We're playing the flip game also. Mm-hmm. So that, like, this is a big weekend for up front, right? So they're doing everything they need to do to become a better football program, and they're fixing their problems that they've had in the past, getting better with the O-line, getting better and bigger on the defensive line, faster, more athletic. This is probably the biggest weekend because it all starts up front. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the theme for a lot of the visits these last 3 have been, the trenches and specifically the defensive line. So, they know what they need. Real quick, if you're on radio listening, we got to take a quick break. So thanks all for hanging out on 1090 The Mightier. We'll be right back with more LA football show. But yeah, it's, Elijah Griffin is obviously the gold goose, another Georgia kid. I don't know what they're doing down in Georgia in these high schools. Like, it's unbelievable the talent they're producing, but he, I think, is technically, Justus Terry was the number 2 overall D-line, and Elijah Griffin is number 1, both from Georgia. Elijah Griffin, I think, is crystal balled or predicted to go to Georgia. So again, you go into that foxhole of like, all right, does SC want to try to get this Georgia kid to stay committed and not have to deal with Georgia? I mean, you always want to shoot your shot. Why not when a guy's that talented? But he would, he'd be another really good get. It'll be a challenge to keep him. But overall, you look at this visit, I think it's really important just that they get some out of it. Last visit, there were supposedly 3 commits. We still have only heard of 1 officially. So 2, I don't know if they're still pending or they just are waiting to announce or whatever. Today, yet again, the old SC Trojan social and Lincoln Riley gave the old Batman signal, the old bat signal with the fight on emoji, usually which signals a commitments come in. So I don't know if they were able to garner a commitment. Jakeem Stewart, who's in the 2026 class, there's rumors he's going to I'm drawing a blank what they call it, reassign to the 25 class, was here visiting this week. So I don't know if that's the case. Another 5-star defensive lineman. Yeah, it's a huge week. All these weekends are big, but it's also, it's college football is just so weird now because they're still all going to visit all through the summer, right? So what does it really mean?
And the reclassifications where I'm watching
reclass. That's what I meant.
I'm watching the Elijah Griffin highlight right now while you were talking.
We're off the
radio. We're off the radio, right?
Yeah.
This motherfucker's good.
Yeah.
So it had me thinking. It had me thinking that now that you said that, and just hear me out. And I think if this is true, I think this is an excellent strategy. What if they're recruiting for the future? And what do I mean by what if they're recruiting for the future? What if they say, all right, we know we're not going to get him now, right? But he may get to Georgia and not be happy. He's already been to our campus. Let's give him another visit, and let's capture him in the portal. What if that's happening too, a little bit with their recruiting? I don't think that's a waste of time. I think that's an excellent idea, and they're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, our coaching staff already. We already been down this line. We already built a relationship. Let's just cut the check, sign the papers, and keep moving. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of good. Like, they're recruiting a lot of people, and they only have a certain number of scholarships. They can't get them all. That's another thing, too. You can't get them all. You only can sign how many scholarships you have available, so you're not going to get all these people. We now just have 2 available. How do we know we don't get Elijah Griffin to flip? It's going to be a hot weekend. Take them down to Manhattan. Let them look at some cuties. You know what I mean? Drive them up to Malibu. Like, the only bad part about recruiting right now is the Dodgers do play at home, so they could take them to a Dodgers-Angels game if they're into baseball. But recruiting in the fall is the best thing because now with the way things work, you could take them to a Laker game and you could put them on the floor and be up front. Like, you could treat a person. My strategy would be I would treat these kids like celebrities. You know what I mean? Even though they're not They may not get the celebrity status because it depends on how they play. I would treat these kids like celebrities and give them the all-star treatment and make them feel like they're celebrities in Los Angeles, which is one of the entertainment capitals of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the studios are here. Like, let's take advantage of that. And they're like, why would I go to Athens and I could come to LA? Right? I could be a celebrity in LA. Like, so that's another thing too.
Well,
what do you think?
Just last night, right? You had the Kendrick Lamar concert over
right.
All the LA icons.
All the LA icons were there. Yep.
I wonder if any guys were there. I mean, it's this weekend. Maybe some guys came in early for that.
Just think about that. Like, what if you would have took them to that and they were on the floor right there, and then they get to go in the back and just hang out with those guys? Can't do that in Athens. Like, you can't do that in Tuscaloosa. Like, you have to use the things that are way better for an 18-year-old against all these schools. Like, we have a bunch of pro sports teams. Like, let's start taking advantage. Like, the buses are big USC fans. Like, hey, let's work something out to where when we have a recruiting visit, we have our guys sit down, 4 seats. It might be against the Pistons, but it doesn't matter. They get to sit 4 seats. They're going to put it on Instagram. Then they're going to check their trip to Alabama. Like, what did you do? Oh, we went to the Laker game. We sat next to Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
What? Like, yeah, like.
And Coach, it's great. And this is, it's so true because, and this is nothing new, right? Like, the Pete Carroll Trojans did this. I mean, they leaned into celebrity here. I mean, Snoop Dogg was at practices.
Yep.
I've heard stories from Frosty and all those guys of, celebrities or comedians giving their Friday night speeches on their Friday night team dinner. And there'd be these famous comedians coming and meeting the teams. And
Will Ferrell was a regular.
Yeah. And hanging out like with the cast of The Hills and Laguna Beach and doing all these crazy things with just the LA celebrities. And that was like what they leaned into and it was different too, because there was no Rams or Chargers, there was no pro team here. Mm-hmm. So SC was, so it's a little different than that, but it's not like LA has any less celebrities today than they did back then. So if you show these kids kind of like, hey, this is all LA has to offer, plus obviously great coaching, football program, great school, great campus life. I mean, you're not going to get that anywhere else.
You're not going to get it anywhere else. Good news on this recruiting trip, though, is Phillip Bell's coming in. Phillip Bell is a 4-star wide receiver from Mission Viejo High School. So we are recruiting California kids. The cry, Lincoln Riley heard your cry. We are recruiting the California kids. I believe I've seen him play against Poly 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But if this is the kid that I've seen play against Poly 2 years ago, this kid's pretty good. I think he was playing corner and receiver, but they think he's a better receiver, which is good. You can never have too many receivers in Lincoln Riley's offense. You're starting to build that pipeline of home. I mean, the next one is you got to start getting into the Modern Days and Boscos of the world, the big cheaters in Southern California, and get those guys there. But yeah, like another California recruit on the list, and maybe he commits. You know what I mean? They got who's our guy who committed last week?
Hayden Lowe,
right? Use a little bit of Hayden Lowe recruitment, like let's start keeping all these guys home. This is how you start. You start with 2, it grows to 4, it goes to 8. You know what I mean? Goes to 16, goes to 32, goes to 64. Next thing you know, 128. Like, things grow in a slow motion. Like I said, this process is not order at a window, turn around the corner, and then you get it. Like, it doesn't work like that. This is a slow process, and it's not going to happen overnight. And I think this all season, and you said it before, he's been doing so well, and these are the blemishes. If these are the blemishes, we're going in the right direction, and Lincoln Riley's making the right choices this all season to become a better football program, to make a better football team, and to become successful.
Yeah. What's so crazy to think about, and I think a lot of people forget, is like these recruits still have their senior year of high school to play. Like, right. They're still playing another year of high school football come fall. Like, I think everyone, I'm not saying everyone thinks this, but it's just like, because it's so now covered, and we do it. Obviously we cover all the recruiting here at LAFB, but you just kind of forget that, oh wow, they still have a senior year of high school to get through. And if you remember the 24 class, this, I think class of 22 kids, a good chunk of those came at the end of last season in late November and December. When you think about, I always say his last name wrong, but Justin Tawano, terrible with names, but offensive lineman, they flipped him. Remember, he's the Huntington Beach kid. He committed last season, late in the season. Jai Babasari, defensive tackle out of Minnesota. They flipped him in December, right before signing day, like days before signing day. Lorenzo Cohen, edge out of Georgia, he was late. So it's like everyone needs to relax in June. You're going to get a lot of kids that more might decommit. Well, let's hope not. Let's knock on wood. As long as Julian Lewis doesn't decommit, then we can really actually be like,
yeah,
okay,
Julian Lewis
now
we have to panic because we got quarterback issues because we only have a quarterback for the next 2 years. So we need a quarterback for the 2026 season. So let's hope he doesn't decommit.
And they've got some strong offers for some 26 kids, but anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But that just to for the 25 class, you want to have the guy that you've they've put all their stock in Julian Lewis, so that's the key. But as long as he stays committed, which as of today, June 20th, sounds like he's still fully in. He will be in Colorado again this weekend for his official visit. I think that's his last. I think he'll be done after that. But as long as he stays, some kids might go. More kids are going to come. It's going to be a roller coaster. Everyone just try to enjoy the ride. Don't let it get you too down if anyone leaves, and don't get too excited if anyone comes, because who knows how long they'll stay until that letter is signed on December.
I hope I don't jinx it, but if he's going to Colorado, I feel pretty safe about the situation.
Yeah.
Is there a Lil Wayne concert in town? Because we definitely know that. If there's a Lil Wayne concert, we definitely know that he's not going there. I will say this, and I meant to talk to you about this earlier. Paul Philbaum's an idiot for him to say that Lincoln Riley area is over. I meant to talk to you about this. Paul Philbaum.
Feinbaum, yeah.
Feinbaum, I don't care. He is.
Whatever. Filibuster, it could be his last name. So
yeah, like he fits the ESPN mode of just not knowing what you're talking about and just throw anything out there for clicks. For you to be like, Lincoln Riley's done because he lost the commit. Well, how come you won't say that Ryan Day is done? He's lost the commit. How come you won't say, oh boy, down in Alabama now, the old Washington coach? What's his name?
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. He lost the commit. How come you won't say he's done? Why is this guy so obsessed with Lincoln Riley? Like, it's starting to get a little Skip Bayless how he is with Lincoln Riley. Like, this dude has a personal vendetta with Lincoln Riley, and who knows why. He must have turned him down for an interview or flaked him or something. But this Lincoln Riley thing with Paul Feinbaum, Philbaum, egg in the nest, doesn't know what he's talking about guy. And I will forever live on this. He got his job for being a snitch. And if you saw the 30 for 30, somebody called into the radio station and said they poisoned the tree, and he called it in. He had a radio station in one of the most ignorant states in America, and people believed that fed off of it. And then ESPN picks him up. He does not deserve a job on ESPN. He is not good enough. Like, Paul, stop talking about USC. I don't know what your infatuation is with us, but leave us alone. We don't like you. I don't like you. Like, come on the show. Let's talk. Let's talk X's and O's, Paul. Let's really talk X's and O's. Then let's talk recruiting with Ryan. And then let's talk facts and how build programs with Jamal. Let's show how dumb you really are. Like, I am so tired of Paul and talking about USC. You're not getting an invite to our prom. You're not good looking enough. This is for the cool kids. You're a nerd. Sorry. You have any comment on what he said? I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, it's just hate clickbait. Or clickbait, whatever you want to categorize it, when his main fodder was that he believes Lincoln Riley has lost the program. You can say last year was a really bad year for Lincoln Riley. That's a fact. He should not have brought back Alan Scritch. That's a fact. It was a up and down season with a lot of strange storylines. That's a fact. But knowing what we've known now for 6 months since the season ended, to say that Lincoln Riley's lost the program because 2 Georgia kids decommitted, I mean, that's just, you, 1, aren't paying attention. You 2, obviously don't cover anything outside of the SEC. And 3, you truly just have a sore spot, hate, whatever. Or, if you say that, all of USC Nation is going to come and flood your comments with engagement and clicks. So that's why you do it. Which is what we're doing now.
If that's the case, then let's just start making clickbait. Lincoln Riley is reportedly leaving USC to go to Oklahoma. Put that as the title line. He's going back to Oklahoma. Like, let's come on, man. We have to say, like, this is crazy. I do not like that guy. I do not like that guy. There's just certain people in the world, and both of them. The Raiders coach and Paul are in the same category with me. Like, you did not ethically get your job, and you have ethical issues. And once it comes down to ethics with me, like that's really a spot where I'm like, I'm good on you. So yeah, like, and I've told you about the Raiders coach and how I feel about him and why I feel the way I feel about him, and it's all facts and it all checks out. So those are the things. But that's all I have. I've vented at the end.
That's good. Obviously we want them to win anyway, regardless. But how sweet would it be if SC just boat races LSU in the opening game? I bet you Feinbaum won't even mention that game on his show.
Won't mention it at all.
Game, you won't even mention. He'll just gloss over it. He'll be like, "Oh, LSU got some bad luck and fell in Vegas. It was too far west for them to play."
Yeah, they should have never played that game in Vegas. Why would you make LSU travel all the way to Vegas where it's hot and a whole different time zone? But in other news, did you see how good Alabama looked against the poor sisters of the South who are blind and deaf? They're the national championship team. Paul, shut up. That's how it goes. Yeah, definitely. Ryan, it's been fun, man. Another Thursday in the books, another Friday. Oh, man. It's been an interesting week, but we have fun. So fun. How about we enjoy our weekends and do it again on Monday, which we will be live. We convinced Ryan to go live every Monday. We will see you guys on Monday.
Me. I'm in.
But we have to come up with a time. I think that time that we did, and you guys could agree, you can leave it in the comments. What time did we do? Like 5 o'clock or something like that?
I think like 5:30.
Yeah, like 5:30. So we'll be live 5:30 Pacific time because we got a lot of comments, got a lot of views. That might be your time for Monday. Listen to what I'm saying, guys, because sometimes people don't listen. That will be our time for Monday to go live during the off season. Once we start back during the regular season, we'll be on live again for Victory Sundays at 9 a.m. Mm-hmm. All season, we'll be live at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Central Time.
6:30.
6:30. Sorry. 6:30 Mountain. Oh, you're Mountain guy.
Central Time.
7:30 Central Time. 8:30 Eastern Time. Just for the off season. When the season starts, Victory Sunday will be 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Central, and then 12 p.m. Eastern. We're all good? Thank you guys for listening. That's just my public service.
And I said it all wrong anyway. 6:30, 7:30 Mountain, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. So we were all over the place.
Mountain's an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6:30 Mountain. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah, we're starting at 5:30. Now I'm all thrown off.
Yeah, I messed it up because I said 5:30, and then I took 30 minutes.
5:30 Pacific. You guys can figure it out from there.
You got it. Yeah, we'll go from there.
I went to Long Beach State, okay? Don't blame me. I went to a state school.
Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys Monday at 5:30. Ryan's been a good one. You guys know how it is. It's the Bet Online Salute Detroit podcast. You know the saying, live free, fight on.